You ever feel like 24 hours just isn't enough? Like if you could just sleep a little less, you'd get more done. If you worked a few more hours, you'd finally get ahead. Maybe you skip breakfast to answer emails. Maybe you ignore your kids to finish one more project. Maybe you're actually proud of sleeping only 4 hours a night, like it's some kind of badge of honor, proving you're tougher, more dedicated, more successful than everyone else. But here's the truth most people learn too late. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have. James Carter discovered this the hard way, and a doctor who'd lost everything taught him something that saved his life. James was 38 and had it all figured out. Vice president at a tech company, 6-figure salary, respect from colleagues, a productivity system so efficient he could answer 50 emails before his first meeting. He woke at 5 a.m., worked until midnight, and genuinely believed sleep was for people without ambition. His phone was always in his hand, his laptop always open, his mind always somewhere else, even when his body was sitting at the dinner table with his wife and 2 kids. His wife Sarah would say gently, "James, Emma asked you a question," and he'd look up from his screen with that confused expression of someone who hadn't heard a single word. "What? Sorry, babe. Work emergency. What did you say, Em?" But by then, his 9-year-old daughter had already gone quiet, had already learned that dad's attention was something you couldn't compete for against the glow of a phone screen. James told himself he was doing this for them, working this hard so they could have a better life. Private school, nice house, vacations they were too busy to actually take because he couldn't unplug long enough to enjoy them. He was winning at work. That's what mattered. That's what success looked like. Until the morning his wife physically blocked the door and said, "You're going to the doctor. You haven't had a checkup in 3 years. You look great, James. You're exhausted all the time. You're going, or I'm taking the kids and leaving until you do." She wasn't joking. Dr. Chen's office was the kind of calm that made James uncomfortable. No phones ringing, no urgent emails, just quiet. The doctor himself was 70, moved slowly, spoke even slower. Everything about him screamed waste of time to James, who was already checking his watch, calculating which meetings he was missing. Dr. Chen looked at the test results for a long time, too long, finally said, "James, your body is 55 years old. Your actual age is 38. You're aging 17 years faster than you should be." James barely looked up from his phone. "So, give me something. Vitamins, whatever. I don't have time to be sick." Dr. Chen smiled sadly. "That's exactly the problem. You have maybe 10 years left if you continue like this. Your stress levels are catastrophic. Your sleep deprivation is literally killing you. Your body is shutting down. Then fix it. Prescribe something. I've got a presentation next week I can't miss." "James," Dr. Chen's voice cut through the fog. "I can't fix this with pills, but I can offer you something better. I can sell you time." James finally looked up. "What?" Dr. Chen pulled out 2 identical glass jars, filled one with large rocks first, then pebbles that fit between the rocks, then sand that filled the remaining space. It was completely full. "This is your day, 24 hours. The big rocks are what truly matters: family, health, purpose. The pebbles are important work. The sand is everything else: email, meetings, distractions." He dumped it all out, started over, but this time began with sand and pebbles, filled the jar halfway, then tried to add the big rocks. They didn't fit. No matter how he arranged them, the rocks couldn't squeeze in. See? Same jar, same 24 hours. But when you fill your day with sand and pebbles first, the big rocks don't fit. You don't have no time for family, James. You have time filled with things that matter less. James felt something uncomfortable twist in his chest. But I have to do all of it. My job. No, you choose to do all of it. There's a difference. Dr. Chen leaned forward. Let me make you an offer. 7 days. You do exactly half of what you normally do. Not random half, the right half, the half that actually matters. If your life doesn't improve, I'll give you pills and you can go back to killing yourself in peace. But if it works, you pay me by learning the lesson. James wanted to say no, wanted to explain how impossible that was, how many people depended on him, how everything would fall apart. But he looked at Dr. Chen's calm face and heard his wife's ultimatum echoing in his head. Fine, 7 days. Day 1 felt like jumping off a cliff. James had 12 meetings scheduled. Dr. Chen's challenge? Cancel 6. Choose only the ones that actually changed outcomes. James stared at his calendar in panic. All 12 felt essential. All 12 had seemed urgent when he'd scheduled them. But when he actually looked, really looked, half of them were status updates that could be emails. 2 were meetings about planning other meetings. 1 was something he'd said yes to 6 months ago just to avoid disappointing someone. He canceled 6, sent apologetic emails, waited for the angry responses, the accusations of being unprofessional. Instead, got 3 replies saying, "Thanks, this frees up my afternoon too." And honestly, this could have been an email. Nobody was angry. Nobody even seemed to care. The 6 meetings he kept were different. He wasn't exhausted before they started. He actually listened instead of thinking about the next meeting, made better decisions, got more done in 30 minutes than he usually did in 2 hours of distracted discussion. That night, he got home at 6 instead of 9. His son looked at him like he'd seen a ghost. "Dad, you're home?" Day 3 was the email test. Dr. Chen had been blunt. You check email 47 times a day. That's pathological. For 3 days, check exactly twice, 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. That's it. James physically felt withdrawals. His hand kept reaching for his phone like a reflex. The panic of not knowing what was in his inbox made his chest tight, but he white-knuckled through it. By afternoon, he realized something disturbing. Nothing had exploded. Nothing urgent had actually required his immediate attention. The few things that needed responses got better responses because he actually thought before replying, instead of firing off reactive emails from his phone while walking between meetings. Turned out, constant availability wasn't making him more effective. It was making him more reactive, more shallow, more exhausted. Day 5 was the hardest, the family dinner test. Dr. Chen's rule: 1 hour, no phone, no laptop, no just checking one thing. Just dinner, just family. James sat down at the table and felt naked without his devices. Didn't know what to do with his hands. The conversation felt awkward at first because he realized he didn't actually know how to have dinner with his family anymore. Didn't know what his kids were interested in, what they did at school, who their friends were. His daughter, Emma, kept glancing at him like she was waiting for him to disappear back to his laptop. But he stayed, asked questions, actually listened to the answers instead of half listening while mentally drafting emails. And then Emma said something that made his world stop. "Dad, there's this girl at school. She's been really mean to me, saying things." Her voice got small. "It's been happening for a while." James's chest went cold. How long is a while? Like 3 months? 3 months! His daughter had been dealing with bullying for 3 months, and he hadn't known. Hadn't noticed? Because he'd been physically present but mentally absent. phone in hand, attention elsewhere, missing everything that actually mattered. He looked at his wife. Sarah's eyes were wet. She'd known, had probably tried to tell him, but he hadn't been there to hear it. James excused himself, went to the bathroom, and cried for the first time in years. Not because work was hard, because he'd been winning at work and losing at life, and he hadn't even noticed. Day 7, he went back to Dr. Chen, sat down with something broken open inside him. I did what you asked, cut everything in half. And you know what happened? My work got better. My team's more productive because I'm not micromanaging. My decisions are clearer. And his voice cracked. I actually saw my daughter for the first time in years. Really saw her. She's been suffering, and I didn't know because I was too busy being productive. Dr. Chen nodded slowly. So, it worked. But I still don't understand. How did doing less give me more time? Dr. Chen opened his desk drawer, pulled out a photograph. Himself, 30 years younger, expensive suit, standing in a corporate office. He looked exhausted, driven, exactly like James. I was you, Dr. Chen said quietly. Worked 80 hours a week, vice president at 40, always busy, always important, always on. My wife would call during meetings and I'd decline. She'd text and I'd respond, busy, talk later. I told myself I was building a future for us, for our son. Just a few more years of grinding and then I'd relax. He touched the photograph. One Tuesday afternoon, I was in a meeting. My phone rang 3 times. I ignored it. It was my wife. She wanted to tell me she loved me, just that. She was driving to pick up our son from school and wanted to hear my voice. That was her last call. A truck ran a red light. She died instantly. The office went absolutely silent. I spent the next 10 years trying to go back in time, trying to answer that call. But you can't buy back time, James. You can only stop wasting it. Dr. Chen's eyes were clear, calm, devastated. I quit corporate, went to medical school at 45, became a doctor not to make money, but to save people from making my mistake. You don't need more hours in the day. You need to stop filling your hours with things that steal time from what actually matters. James couldn't breathe, couldn't speak, just sat there with the weight of it crushing him. Your calendar doesn't lie, Dr. Chen said. Show me your schedule and I'll tell you your real values. Not what you say matters, what actually matters to you. Right now, your calendar says work is your family, email is your priority, meetings are your purpose. Is that true? Or is that just what you've chosen? James drove home in silence. That night, he sat with his calendar, really looked at it, saw the truth staring back. 80% of his time spent on things that wouldn't matter in 5 years. 20% on things that were his entire life. He built a successful career and lost his family in the process. And if Dr. Chen hadn't shocked him awake, he'd have kept going until it was too late. 6 months later, James worked 6 hours a day instead of 14. His company grew 40% because his team is empowered instead of micromanaged. He has dinner with his family every night, phones away, fully present. He coaches his son's soccer team. He knows his daughter's friends, her fears, her dreams. He sleeps 7 hours and actually has energy instead of running on adrenaline and coffee. People ask him, how do you balance it all? Work, family, exercise, sleep. Where do you find the time? And James smiles, remembering the jars. I don't have more time than you. I just put the big rocks in first. And if something doesn't fit after that, it means it wasn't actually important. It just felt urgent. Because that's what James learned, that urgency is a drug, that busyness is an addiction, that you can be so focused on managing your time that you forget to live your life. The most productive thing you can do isn't to work harder, it's to protect what matters and let everything else fall away. Your calendar is a confession. What is yours saying about you? You can't buy time, but you can stop wasting it pretending that everything urgent is actually important. The big rocks go in first, or they don't fit at all.